we have enough of it.
I just let men talking about women.
Right. It's just like, well, I think we should just listen to each other.
I'm gonna be real. I tell y'all real. I do not know what is going on.
So, yeah, all those things. But yeah, so I know I want to do a few more editions of Rules of Loyalty. I want to do one for kids, which will probably just be stripped way down into maybe just like a book of affirmations.
Ooh, affirmation's big right now too.
But for kids, you know, with some illustrations.
Affirmation is like a big thing right now too.
Mm-hmm. So I just wanna.
But that grief joint, you might want to. That might need to be your third book.
Yeah, it's.
Cause that's gonna be crazy.
Dive into those spaces.
Hey, cousin, can you look in that camera without touching it and see if you can see me?
Yeah, let's see if everybody in the frame.
Yeah. You can see me? Yeah. All right, now we're trying to charge it.
So how far do you see off this side? Like, where does it cut off on the side? Can you see
from your wrist on.
Okay, so you can see from here.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So you got the whole table in the shot.
Yeah.
Nice.
Can you see the logo up top?
What, that label sign?
Yeah.
I can see it. Yeah, I see it.
All right, we about to cream. Appreciate that, family.
That'd be $50.
I mean, if you gonna 50, we got more work for you. Like $50 ain't nothing, but we gonna have to get some more work for that. We're gonna get you doing some more stuff.
Hey, see, I ain't gonna say it live on camera, but see, that's why I don't mess with certain people. You know what I'm saying? Certain demographic. All right, we about to round it up. 1, 2. All right, yo, what's going on, people? This is No Labels Podcast. You know what I'm saying? I would do the yo, but they done, you know what I'm saying? They've been clowning me. So
I didn't clown.
How y'all doing, family? This is No Labels Podcast. This is actually an interview, you know what I'm saying? We about to talk to a fellow podcaster in the city of Savannah, a dude by the name of Corey Smith. He has a podcast called Questions by Roy, and he doing a lot of dope things in the community. He should be stepping in any minute. But in the meantime, you know I got an icebreaker, and this is of course my co-host.
I'm Audrey. Hi.
The petty one. And look,
she's not petty.
While we waiting on our guests, I got an icebreaker.
Okay.
We was talking about it earlier, and I want to talk about the whole situation. Like, how you feel about the I don't want to kill her name, but the girl in the Olympics.
Sha'Carri. I like the way she said it. Sha'Carri Richardson. I don't like to mispronounce people's names.
So how you feel about that? Like, what's your thoughts? Like, do you think she deserved that, or do you think it was overboard, or do you think she was irresponsible? What's your 2 cents?
I think we have to, for this situation, I think we have to accept that a lot of things that seem contradictory are true in the same space at the same time. I do think that it was irresponsible of her assuming that to be an Olympic level athlete or athlete contending for the Olympics, which she earned.
Yeah.
You know what the rules are.
We got our guest. Yeah.
Our guest is here.
I guess this popped in.
I'm gonna pause on my response.
You know what I'm saying? Corey Smith. You good right here, brother.
All right.
Excuse me, sir. Get past you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but we just started. We just popped that icebreaker. What's going on, family?
What's up with you? Guy?
You good?
Got it. Come on now. We got you.
Get your mic situated.
Don't get spoiled here. How y'all been?
Man, we
good. How are you?
I'm good.
Appreciate you for coming through.
Pleasure's mine.
Yeah, you got to make sure you got you.
Just came from the day party, so excuse me.
You doing day party? See, I'm trying to get there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
So how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for real. I was surprised when you reached out. I was happy.
No, but I wanted to kill the stigma of it ain't supporting the city, and plus I want to create a different culture. You feel what I'm saying? As I see you doing your thing in the community, you know what I'm saying, especially in the black community.
Right.
Bring a lot of motivation to where it's little sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Then we're gonna get back to the icebreaker. Man. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm Questions by Roy. I go by Roy. Corey Smith is my real name, but QBR, as you see. You know, I had to bring that out today. Pull it down. Not yet. You know, I'm just waiting on the right moment to drop that. But it's coming. But Question by Roy in the building. Pleasure to be here.
All right, glad to have you.
For sure. Thank you. Thank you. What you got, man? What icebreaker y'all talking about here?
All right, so we are talking about the track runner. I don't want to kill a name. What's her?
We're talking about Sha'Carri Richardson, and I was saying how for this situation, I think for me, I'm just willing to accept that a lot of like multiple things that could seem controversial are true in the same space.
Right.
I do think it was irresponsible for someone who has devoted so much of their time and they know that they're contending for an Olympic title.
Right.
They earned it. And then during this time, you do what you know is against the rules. With that being said, we were just off air talking about grief and how powerful grief can be, and I do understand the power of grief. And she just lost her mother,
right.
And so, and then I understand that also in that space, the thing that she's being penalized for is legal in a lot of the country, and also it was legal where she did it. It was legal where she did it, but it was not legal for the sport that she was in,
Okay.
and she knew that,
right.
Then I think an entirely different conversation. Is this rule antiquated? Is this rule not even antiquated, but is it irrelevant? As we move to a culture that is pushing, at least in America, to legalize this recreational use of marijuana, and then where it's historically, it's statistically proven that this particular thing has been used to stifle the Black community in a lot of ways. while the same people that used it to stifle a community is also preparing to profit off of it in major ways. And I think you also have to consider that we can't only consider American law. The Olympics is an international event, and there are a lot of other countries where it's still a hard no for marijuana usage, recreational or otherwise. And so I just think it's a lot of things true in this one situation. I am willing to extend grace. Where I still would really love to see her run because she's a phenomenal athlete and she's just entertaining. And from a Black woman standpoint, to see a Black woman in all her Black woman hair and nails glory, dominating, definitely. Yeah, so there's the part of me that wants to see it, but am I giving pushback over like, well, let her run, break the rule? Like, no. But then also. Not even the Michael Phelps thing, but also when you talk about for people whose argument is like, well, this was the rule, but also if you go over to a neighboring sport of gymnastics where Simone Biles is dominating and nobody can touch her, they are creating rules against her ability because other people can't do it, and it's just like, well, the point is to be the best in the world, so they're creating rules that prohibit skills that only she can do. And so when you talk about rules, well, let's talk about rules across the board. So I just think a lot of things are true. I understand, yes, she broke the rules and it is what it is, but then also, like, if you let her run, I ain't mad.
So if it was up to you, would you let her run right now?
If the decision making was in my hands?
If the decision making was in your hands, would you allow her to run? Knowing the example she would set for other future Olympians. African American Olympians at that.
I feel like I can't give a clear cut answer. I would say what my decision making process would be. I was like, well, is there a precedent for this? If Michael Phelps had a similar situation, what do we do for him? You know, where is there a precedent? And also, is this the only punishment to this? Does this punishment fit this crime? I use crime, loosely. So I mean, I don't know what my decision would be, but I would be considering. Obviously, I can argue a whole bunch of different sides of this, so I don't think that.
We already know once she crank you up, his
and then like filter through my Black womanness,
we just on the icebreaker. Hey, boy,
hey, I like it.
So I stand firm, and I don't know.
So what would be your response to that? Then I will last.
For me, I feel like. For a while, she kind of knew what was at stake. All right, I understand that you lost your mother. I understand, everybody grieves differently.
Yeah.
But you kind of give them ammunition to say, see, I told you. That's the biggest thing for me. Because they already counted her out due to our culture in a way. She wears her hair and nails, and et cetera, et cetera. You know, when you represent, I'm not going to say she represents all of us, but she represents a piece of our culture, and that's the worst part about it.
So here's my question to that. What is the "see I told you" part? See I told you what? From who to who?
Typical. We be political here.
Yeah,
typical white America.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Imagine how they already look at her.
Because if that's the argument, I'm gonna be like, well, who cares? I don't care to be judged by.
Right.
Don't judge my culture if you're not a part of it. Like, you don't get to decide that. Like, we already, like, now it's the black woman in me coming up defensive. Like, the Crown Act is a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, we already fighting to wear our hair in all spaces how it grows out of our head.
Exactly.
Like, so that whole, like, see, I want to, and not to you, but like, I told you what? Like, see, I told you I'm the fastest out here. How about we stop at that? With my hair, with my nails, with all my name.
Granted, I would love for that to be the case, but in reality, that's not the case. We know that white America is looking at her, and they want her to fail from the get-go. They don't want her representing America. We want her to, of course, whether she's smoking or not. Personally, I don't care. I just don't want her to have to give them that ammo to stand on something and say, see, I told you. Because I work with a lot of white Americans, Caucasians, and it was just something for them to pick on. You know what I mean?
But so then, how? Willie, jump in and save me. Why do we have to keep doing that for? Like, my thing is, I see where you're coming from, but like, we exhausted from being into what white America think. What about that? Like, so Willie's supposed to cut his hair?
No. It ain't even.
No, because I get my thing is like that's the same. Like, well, in a certain standard of like, see, I told you these black guys with dreads and wear baseball caps backwards. I told you they got no good based on how you want to put us in jail. Based on, I just think that is a very. I think that truth. I don't think it's not true. I do think it's true. I think that truth is part of the problem of America.
It is. So, I 100%.
So I think I'm really heavy on the I don't care when it comes to like, well, you giving them ammo. They gonna find it. They won't. If they want to find ammo, history proves that they'll find it wherever they want to find it.
Right. But the thing
either
is,
where it doesn't exist, aka the People's Exhibit A, Simone Biles. We can't do what you just did, and we got to compete against you. So we're gonna make it a rule that you can't do it.
That's true.
People, we still in the iceberg.
You know?
Well, no.
It's like, my thing is, if Sha'Carri take that hair and nails off, she probably gonna shave more off her time, and y'all gonna be more mad.
But listen, I love the fact that she is who she is and represents us. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the truth. That's us right there. But all I'm saying is, knowing they already don't care for us to represent them as a country. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So the first thing they do again is, oh, look at her hair, look at this. Me personally, I don't care. I wouldn't give a damn. But knowing that these people control the rules, because clearly we don't.
We don't. But let's bring that back into just America. What would happen to, you don't want black people to represent you.
Right. If we pulled out of sport?
Yeah, so pull all black people and all they dreads and all they whatever pull it all out of football.
I wish they did.
Who want to watch that? I mean, Tom Brady can't hold down the whole league by himself.
I wish they did.
He's a bad boy, but he can't hold it.
I wish we had our own league. I wish all the star athletes that go to these big colleges. So take all
the black people out of basketball. Who watching that?
Exactly.
Y'all left with NASCAR.
Exactly.
And golf.
They making up sports that we don't even know of.
And Bubba's still out there in NASCAR, and Tiger's still out there.
Okay, let me give my.
We smiling.
Okay, so we're still in the icebreaker, and I feel that was a good icebreaker. That was a good. I was really.
I love it.
I was really fixing the sounds. I was letting you talk.
Get me warmed up.
I feel where both of y'all coming from. I feel where you coming from, Corey, from the simple fact, like, I don't think that they should have tried to ban her from all that, but I get what you're saying. Like, you got to understand what position you in. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, you made it to the top. It's different. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say different rules, but it's just like everybody.
No, there's different.
You know what I'm saying? It's like when you put into a place where you representing, and it's like a lot of people looking up to you. You gotta.
Gotta tread carefully.
You gotta understand that you can't be everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people may take this wrong way, but you can't be quote unquote normal.
Exactly.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
You can't.
Because
If you were normal, you wouldn't be qualifying for the Olympics.
Exactly.
So I'm like, that was anything else, Audrey?
I just, to sum it all up, and with all those things being true, I think it's just a really unfortunate situation.
It is, right?
I'm still very much Team Sha'Carri, but
Most definitely. We all,
And we all.
but to your point, Willie, even when you take all of the rules out of it, even if you take all the legality out of it, if you really want to be the best, then there are it's a continual sacrificing that comes with being the best. Yeah. And so whether I heard someone make the argument, it's just like, well, it may not. So the Olympic gold medalist is not necessarily the best that can do the sport in the moment. It's also the roll up to the moment.
Exactly.
It's also like this person was a little more willing to sacrifice than this person. This person was willing to put more in or deny themselves more, and that's also the makeup of an Olympic gold medalist. And so where you may not beat her in time, somebody did beat her in a discipline. And
that's why
they may get the gold medal because they weren't faster. But in those other elements outside of the speed that determine whether or not you win, she forfeit.
Exactly.
Not that she's not the best, but a forfeit still counted as a loss.
Yeah. And we know she's the best. Come on now. Let's keep it real.
So it's an unfortunate situation.
It is.
Yeah, the world knows she's the best. But I mean, that was a fight. That's probably my best icebreaker to begin with. And man, going into it, man, going into the podcast, I think I got one more thing to say. It's like, okay, like we got to understand. I mean, even in the black community, because I see a lot of the arguments, and I understand. Like me personally, there's no way I think you should not let her run. You know what I'm saying? For that, I mean, for something so small. But I think like we got to understand, like she not just like once she became like the fastest girl in that whatever, she became more than just a racer. You know what I'm saying? Now she a leader.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now she got role model. Now she got girl. And I'm not saying that we got anything to do with a role model, but at that moment, it's like, okay, let me put this down. And let me go and get this gold medal. You know what I'm saying? We can't smoke. We can't do that. It is what it is. I mean, and like you saying, it's a whole bunch of factors. You can put grief, but you know what I'm saying? Like you can put a million great people in a room, and everybody got a story. Everybody got a sacrifice. Everybody had to discipline themselves. But we're gonna get into this question by question. What I don't want to kill your podcast. You know what I'm
Questions by Roy. Questions by Roy.
So what's going on? So let's just. What is your podcast? I know what your podcast is about, but tell the people what your podcast is about.
It's basically to bring spotlight to those who are overlooked, mostly. Local businesses, artists, entrepreneurs, CEOs, strippers. You know, I do it all. Rappers, entertainers, anybody that's local, even if you're not local. But right now, I'm focusing on my people that's in the city.
Yeah,
and just trying to bring them spotlight. You know, we've been doing pretty well. It's been under 2 years. But most episodes generate on Facebook Live about 4,000 to 5,000 views in a week.
Okay,
so,
that's impressive.
Smart flex.
Yeah, well, you know, I ain't trying to. I'm sorry.
I'm a fan. No, I'm a fan of what you're doing. As far as in the local neighborhood, and like I said, especially for the black, for the black neighborhood, and it's like because we need inspiration.
Right.
But I actually wanted to start off the podcast with one of your questions.
Oh man.
Okay, so he be on Facebook Live.
Okay, let me ask this before you ask the question. How did you land on the name Questions by Roy?
It's.
I feel like once we get into these questions, that's gonna be.
It really. Back in Bartlett, I had a nickname C-Roy. I was rapping in the hallways as, you know, back in those days, C-Roy.
That's lit.
Yeah, and then, you know, as I got older and I go out of town in my single days, I would go by the name Roy because I didn't want nobody to have my real name. So when I got back and we started doing the podcast and et cetera, I just started going by Roy, and they'd be like, man, you always ask a lot of questions. I said, okay, and Questions by Roy.
All right.
And so let me tell y'all one of his questions. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad Audrey here. You know what I'm saying? Because this ain't the typical like we got.
man.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, man. Like I was following the dude for a minute. Like I don't ask anyone to come on unless I'm a fan. Like people may ask to come on,
man.
but I reached out to him because I'm personally a fan. It's like okay, but this is just one of the questions. Audrey, I'm glad you're here because you could be the first one to chime in. Okay, it says, how come women downplay men that enjoy hanging with their homeboys, then turn around and always hanging with their homegirls, taking girl trips, girl nights, etc. Question by Roy.
Hey, hit me with the question one more time.
How come? How come women downplay men that enjoys hanging with their homeboys, then turn around and do the same thing with their homegirls, like taking girl trips, girl nights out, etc. How come women downplay men that like that enjoy hanging with their homeboys?
Oh goodness. Okay, so first of all, let me just say for myself, I am not that girl. I am a fan of guys. I think it's necessary. Just because I think the reason I think it's so necessary is because I know how necessary it is for women to have their girl time. And so I think it is foolish and unfair to think that guys don't need the same thing. That is my personal thing. Now, as far as the generalization of like, why do women? I had to just exclude myself from the generalization. And I know a lot of women who would say the same thing I just said. Like, no, I'm glad for my guy to go, you know. Because I think anybody in a healthy relationship recognize the value in it because it helps to balance out the whole entity of the relationship. True. Like, if we got our time, but we both get to go and you have your time and I have mine, you know, I think...
It be some shade on that.
It is, but now to go back to the question, because I don't want to be evasive.
Don't wait on my turn too.
I think it's because women are socialized to see the role of men in a really like narrow way. And the same society is telling women, girl, y'all do this and go trips here and do this. And then there's a lot of societal voicing that I personally don't agree with that plants the idea that women don't need men. And so there's a lot of women's togetherness that is advertised and pushed and praised and celebrated.
It's going crazy now too.
And whereas, like, women are celebrating this space, but those same women are also being told, well, if your man ain't showing up and doing this, and this for you, he's not even on your level. And it just shows a very narrow tunnel vision view of men, I think. But I think that's why, because of just the way that it's shown by the time you bring in social media and even the TV shows. It's like, you ain't got TV shows with 4 men. Like you got with Girlfriends,
okay,
or it's just so the messaging of it, and I think sometimes maybe women just kind of eat it up and absorb it and intake it in a way that men don't. So I think sometimes the women that continue to perpetuate that haven't seen the benefits that come with a man spending healthy time with his friends. Does that make sense? Yeah. So
I do got a question before Roy. You know,
yeah, because I'm ready.
You know what I'm saying? Like I get you intelligent, and that was a good answer. But now I'm gonna ask you. Have you? Because you know what I'm saying?
Me, person.
Have you ever? You as a woman, have you? You know what I'm saying? Not to get involved in love, but have you been with somebody or with somebody, and they be with their partners, and you know what I'm saying? You throw out a quick. You know what I'm saying? One of them jokes, you know what I'm saying? Y'all must be doing something with each other, you know what I'm saying? Y'all must be, you know what I'm saying? Basically, little quick gay jab. You know what I'm saying? That's how you feel.
I'm trying to think, have I ever done that? So is that the question? Like, have I ever done that?
Like, have you ever took a jab because the dude you was with was hanging around his friends too much?
No.
Okay.
So for specifically what you said though, like for a woman to take a jab at her own man from a sexuality standpoint is like you throw yourself under that same bus.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but to be fair, I know it happens. I think the only time when I think about my past relationships where I thought that was problematic was just I think, and I can speak for like at least a large percentage of women. Women will speak up if they feel like you aren't the priority in a space.
I can feel
you
that.
know, not saying like I know you got to go to work. I know this, and I know that all of these things, but it's just I'm asking. Usually, women kind of start to nag a little bit if they're asking for a specific thing or a specific piece of your time, and it's like they're struggling to get it. But it's just like all the time in the world becomes available when you want to hang out with your homeboy. So it's not like I want you to cut it off altogether. I really just want the thing I'm asking for, and now I feel like I'm competing with this thing. So now I'm taking jabs at the thing that I feel like I'm competing with.
I do.
And until you clarify that or communicate that it's something that she don't feel like it is, she gonna take jabs at that thing.
Okay.
I can feel that. What about you? What about you, Corey?
I'm going to spice it
Mike
up a little bit.
You want to spice it? Go
I
ahead,
tell you,
spice it.
some women just selfish. I think a lot of
don't
them
disagree.
selfish. A lot of them don't take accountability for being selfish. And you know, it falls.
heavy.
Hey man, it falls into that. I think we're in the era where people don't take accountability for the things that they say. Like if you, like she said, you need a healthy balance of a relationship as far as your friendship, hanging out. You need to be able to miss your partner. There should be nothing in the world to make you feel like, well, you hanging with them, so you got to be gay. You got to be messing with them or something like that. That's a red flag off the bat. You know, so a lot of women, I'm gonna say a lot. I'm gonna say a lot, or tend to be selfish, and they don't realize they're being selfish because, like she said, women are being conditioned to think that this is how a man should be.
And also, I think to your point, we're conditioned to think that some things that can fall under selfish behavior aren't selfish, and we're going to file under self-care.
There you
and
go.
girl, I deserve this. And not saying that you don't, but your man, if he good, he deserves his stuff too.
Right. And we in that era now where a lot of women are like you said, girl, I deserve this. Girl, I deserve that. No, you don't. Some of them don't. Some of them don't.
my.
No, they don't.
Oh my.
No, they
Yeah,
don't.
we taking it
Because-
there.
Okay, so
yeah,
without
we'll
being
take it
specific,
there.
describe to me the type, broad strokes,
Yeah.
the type of woman who doesn't deserve it.
It's the woman that I feel like this. Whatever you bring to the table, you deserve. You can't ask for a Chanel bag and you never was able to buy one yourself. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same thing when it comes to your feelings. If you're not able to open up on your feelings and tell the person exactly how you feel, we're all adults at this point. You should be able to tell me exactly how you feel without it being an anger transfer, without you getting angry and then deciding to tell me how you feel, or without me going out, then you want to call me and ruin my time because I'm out having a good time with my boys. When you done had the time with Keisha, Sheila, all of them, you know, went out to Puerto Rico, probably did who knows what, and you know that's how it goes.
Wait, now you imposing stuff on
No.
who knows what.
But I'm just saying that's just, you know, the realistic. That's the thoughts.
Okay.
I don't care, but it's just the fact that, like I said earlier, women are conditioned to think a certain way. If a man doesn't do this, he ain't a man. If a man don't provide this, he ain't a man. If a man don't buy me this, he ain't a man.
Well, let me dive into play neutral.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because I am the married dude of the group. So I be looking like I got a lot of single friends, and it's ugly out here, man. And I'm only looking from the outside view, like just what they come to me. And it's like the game to change, and it's like I think when you say women are selfish, and it's like I ain't gonna put all women in one category.
Yeah,
but it's like a lot of what's being fed. You know what I'm saying? It's like these narratives. You know what I'm saying? In the music, in the culture, and even with men, it's like you can go both because I'm looking like. I'm gonna see things differently than my single friend. They be like, they come to me like I'm the last one to come to when they want. You know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of times they come to me and I be like, yo. For your lady, I basically she tripping. I would say something like that. But a lot of times, sometimes I'd be like, yo, fam,
you tripping.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you got to chill out a little bit. And it's like I think when you say selfish, I think we got a selfish generate like. It's a lot of it's a lot of false narratives. Like
exactly.
me being married 7 years. And got married young, and like I got all of them broke down. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? It ain't like cause I came with all them expectations. Like you supposed to be clean, you supposed to be cooking, and like that may be you. Like however your relationship work, but it's like, bruh, nah, that's a human, man. Like you going, and it's like once I got past that whole what it's supposed to be, and looked at what it is. I don't think a lot of people looking at that like, fam, like when you met her and the first time you went to her house, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course, nobody want to talk to a dirty person, but it's a different, like, everybody ain't squeaky clean. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do the most of the cleaning because she's like, it's like she do, because she's more patient with the kids. So I'm like, I can make that trade-off. You go handle that, and let me be by myself, and let me clean this. You know what I'm saying? Where it's quiet, and it's like it work out like that. But I just think it's a lot of stuff going, especially going through the airways. Like you gotta like I ain't trying to be no music hater, but it's like you got all this.
It is
drain this, nigga, drain this, and while they married, while they having babies, and it's like we over here single. It's like okay, the man gotta have, like you said, the man's supposed to have like if I was single, I would say I told Mo later, I'm like I wouldn't know what to do if I would just turn single, cause like, bro, like you not about to come to my table, like, you know what I'm saying, like, and say I supposed to be doing this, like, what you know what I'm saying, and the vice versa, like, cause a lot of men trying to get taken care of. It's like,
that's true. That's a very real thing. True.
But I'm gonna let you.
But I think to your point though, like with all the things coming in the airway, the things coming through the airways, whether it's music, whether it's social, I'm always going to social media, YouTube, all these different things. But then people intake all of that, and then they want to go put it on their relationship, and it don't fit.
It don't fit at all. I tried it,
and it just doesn't fit, you know. And so I think it's one of the things. Like I'm not married, but one of the things that my pastor's wife was I was with her at a. I think when she was speaking to wives, and she said, listen, ladies, if you do not study your husband, I'm telling you, you missing out on a big part of the benefits of your marriage, because you need to study him and see what he likes and what he does and how he moves, and he'll appreciate you being able to intercept some things or to be proactive on some stuff. Hopefully he's doing the same thing. She was like, but I'm telling you, if you're struggling, before you blame everything on him, how much time do you spend studying your man?
They about to be all in your inbox.
My God.
Who said that? My pastor's wife. Who has been, now she got married really young. She got married like 16 or 17. She's been married most of her life. But she said, listen, she was like, and you never done, because people are always evolving and changing. So you need to always be studying your spouse.
It's true.
Or your man, or whoever your significant other is.
Dang, I agree.
Back your microphone up a little bit.
No,
hurry.
Okay,
good. So, man, look, I'm gonna just keep on going. We're gonna talk about this podcast. We done got through 2 questions.
Listen, we can keep going with questions.
I got questions on.
You know, I love questions.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna ask you another question before we leave. But I just want to get into, like, you know what I'm saying, the podcast, and like even like whoever watching this, I know y'all see me twiddling and all that, and I just want to get into the grind of being a podcaster. Like, you see me over here, I'm being sound man, host, and it's like I talk about like
the journey,
the grind, the work ethic, the journey, and like where you trying to take question. You know what I'm saying? What you trying to do with this?
For me, it's more so turning it into a complete entertainment company.
Okay.
I kind of idolize Kevin Hart in the sense, if that makes sense. He started doing comedy, you know, on the road, as we know, then doing movies, commercials, which led to sponsorships, and partnerships. Then he streaming services such as Netflix picked him up to do, you know, content for them, and then he does kid movies, etc., etc. So for me, I feel like the podcasting has led me to hosting, has led me to doing openings at stores locally, like Jig Cigar. We did that grand opening for that.
Open the doors.
So it just, I'm using that as a platform to build another platform. And then when I have enough, I can say, hey, I need to hire locally and be like, hey, pull this person up, and put people in position to win. So that's the idea of it right now.
And being that, for those who don't know, we are located in Savannah, Georgia, and that is where his podcast is home. That's where our podcast is home. And like I said at the beginning, I like what you doing, like bringing motivation in the hood, basically. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but it's like Savannah, like if you don't know, you know what I'm saying, it's just like any other city, but it's a lot going on. It'd be a lot of violence, you know what I'm saying? It's like so much talent. You prime example. Like we got so much talent in the city. And I'm not from Savannah. Let me make it clear. But but when I moved to Savannah, the first neighborhood I lived in is like when I first moved to Savannah, we went straight to New Mexico Street, the State Street.
In the State.
You know what I'm saying? I went, like,
When I
bro,
first moved to Savannah,
was-
I lived in Savannah State University.
I went-
Tiger Den and all that.
Yes.
I went straight to the State Streets, like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, and then, but it's a great city, you know what I'm saying? I met some of the best people in my life here, and like, we need this. We need people that, especially coming out of the same situation, you know what I'm saying? Turning their lives, whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying, and doing something positive. And I like that, you know what I'm saying? But like, what's the feedback from the city? You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of support you feel like they giving you now?
I'm not gonna lie, man. At first, everybody was like, "Man, what's his angle?"
It was new.
It was new. It wasn't. I ain't gonna say it wasn't heard of because I believe somebody else did podcasting, but I just had a different way how I wanted to do it. You know, integrating Facebook Live, as well as getting sponsorships, not from the big companies, but from the local people that start businesses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So each episode would then sponsor, they might have cupcakes that they do. Okay, so the guests are supplied with cupcakes from somebody local. That way it's a win-win. You get a chance to see your stuff taste live and other people get to know about it. So a lot of that grants business for local businesses. And I get a lot of love from that. Or if a rap artist come on, I think that was the biggest episode we had. It had 17,000 views in that week. And, you know, people, A&R started to contact me.
Okay.
And hit me up and say, hey, who that is? I don't know how they found me, but clearly I'm able to be fine. But just doing stuff like that. So they reacted in a very good manner now, you know, more than anything. And I love it, man. I eat it up because I feel like you put the work in, you put the grind in, and I don't change my appearance. I'm from the hood.
Yeah.
So I don't care if I go to a business meeting, this is how I'm coming. You know, just like she run track with the long hair and everything, they gonna steal our culture anyway. So you're gonna see me with the gold teeth.
I think business attire is relative to your business.
Exactly.
If your business is podcasting, this is your business attire.
There you go.
Exactly, man. I mean, well, that's fire though. That's fire, and I like, you know what I'm saying, because me being a podcast, us being a podcast, like we understand what it takes, and like people think you just get on here and talk, but it's a lot of work behind it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like with you even starting this, like others who come behind you, they only gonna elevate it, and it's like, you know what I'm saying, like when they elevate it, you know what I'm saying, you can be there to like, yo, you can kind of guide them. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people make the mistake, like we starting it now, like I mean, podcasting new, and like. Podcasting was really not that big in Savannah. Like, even if it's big across the whole nation, like it's still not that big in Savannah.
Exactly.
So it's like we kind of like pioneering, you know, the viewers. We kind of like pioneering, and people gonna come behind us, and they gonna elevate it. And the mistake I hope none of us do is be the dude that be the OG hating, because the youngins gonna come behind and they gonna do some different job with it. You know what I'm saying?
And that's called gatekeeping. You know, that's when you basically lock them out from being able to advance and do what they need to do. There's a lot of podcasts that started up that asked me to be on the sideline and help them get started. And I told them, I don't need the credit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't need the acknowledgement. Just here, this is how you do it. This is what you should do. This is who you need to call. This is the resources. This is what it's going to take. And then just take off. That's it. You don't need to give me nothing. Just take off. But remember, you came from Savannah. That's it. You know, so that's how you rock.
I feel you. You got anything for him? You got any questions?
Any questions at all?
Now, I did
when I have a question, I will.
I did come across another question.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? This one. I'm gonna be real. This one, you know what I'm saying? This one was petty. I looked at it. It was like. This was the question. It said something to regard. It said something. I don't want to kill it, but it was like. When you come into a relationship and they got a baby mama or a baby daddy, and they were like, when your newborn looks like the baby mama or baby daddy, you know what I'm saying? It was like, what you doing in that situation when your newborn, like the baby y'all just had.